This is the plaintiff, Pamela Tozy. She says the defendant, her ex-live-in lover, stole her Chevy Avalanche when she kicked him out of the house. The cops recovered it, impounded it, and now she has to pay to get it towed. She feels it's the defendant's responsibility for those fees because it was his fault it got impounded in the first place. She's suing her loser ex-lover for $1,208.50, the amount owed. This is the defendant, Terry Key. He says the hot-headed plaintiff told him he had 10 minutes to get out of the house they shared after he had an argument with her daughter. He jumped into his truck, drove it to Alabama where he used to live, and the plaintiff called the cops, lied to them, and told them he stole it. He's in total shock about all of this. The plaintiff has hurt him enough, but he owes nothing. He's accused of taking off with a truck.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says her ex stole her Chevy Avalanche and he got it impounded. But the defendant says the plaintiff gave him 10 minutes to get out of the house and took the Avalanche to Alabama because it was his. It's the case of Bama. You're out of here.
Thank you, Douglas. Pamela Tozy, you are suing Terry Key for $1,208.50 that it cost you to recover a truck that, according to you, was yours and he stole from you. Tell me what's going on.
On July 7th, we were in my house. Me and my daughter and Terry were in my living room, and my daughter's friend Emily. And we got into, Terry and Veronica got in some kind of an argument, which is my daughter.
Wait, slow down. Bianca's your daughter?
Veronica is my daughter.
Veronica is your daughter,
Yes.
Okay. And Terry was your what?
Boyfriend.
Okay, for how long?
12 and a half years.
Oh, was he living there?
He was living there for about 5.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it your house or both your houses?
My house.
Okay, go on.
They got in an argument over the dog's water bowls. And it just got a little bit too heated. And Terry said that Veronica was selfish. She didn't love anybody but herself. And she turned around and called him a name. And it wasn't a very nice name. And he said that if she talked to him like that again, that he'd slap her teeth down her throat. And I said, what? Thinking maybe I misunderstood him. And he says, you heard me. She talks to me like that, I'll slap her teeth down her throat, and I do the same to you if you talk to me like that. I do that to anybody that would talk to me like that. And I said, that's it. I want you out of my house. We're done. You need to be out of my house. We're going to get our pedicures. When I get back, I want you gone.
Didn't even slow down the pedicure. 12 and a half year relationship. And didn't even slow down your pedicure.
When it comes to my daughter's safety,
I think you were done. I don't think that this is, she called him a 7-letter word that starts with A and is a body part.
Yes.
And then he says, I'm going to slap your teeth down here. If it had been the beginning of a romance, you probably wouldn't have tossed him out. I think you were just sick of him. And that this was just like the cherry on the sundae or the last straw.
They had an ongoing love-hate relationship, that they would argue quite often.
Okay, so you tell him you got to go, I got a pedicure, and then what?
I said, we're leaving, and when I get back, I want you gone.
Right.
And I said, you can take the Wrangler.
What's the Wrangler?
A Wrangler is a Jeep.
Okay.
That was one that I purchased, but the bill of sale was in Terry's name, so it was considered to be his. I have.
Oh, you mean it was registered in his name, or the title was in his name?
Just the
what do you
bill of
mean?
sale. Just the bill of sale.
Okay.
So when we purchased it, he just didn't register it yet. He had purchased it in hopes to either sell it to his son, because his son was looking for a vehicle, or to resell it and make some profit on it.
Okay.
So what I did is I said, you can take the Wrangler. I said, but, because usually he would drive my truck. And I said,
how long was usually?
Almost on a daily basis.
And
because
would you ever drive your truck or no?
I'm sorry?
Would you ever drive your truck?
Occasionally, not too often.
Because you had a third car?
I actually had 4 vehicles at the time.
Okay. So for how long had he been driving the truck?
Since we purchased it.
Which I don't know when that is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
About a year and a half.
Okay. And did he put any money down on that truck?
No.
Zero. Did he make any payments on that truck?
No, I paid for it in full.
In full at the time?
Yes.
Okay. So you tell him, don't take the truck. It's not yours. And he takes the truck.
We come back a couple of hours later and the truck is gone.
Okay. Why didn't you just take the keys to the truck so it couldn't be gone?
He had the keys, and I was so upset at the time that I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to get my daughter out of there, and I wanted to leave.
Okay. So then what happens?
I called him and I asked him to bring back my truck. I said, why'd you take my truck? He's, in somewhere in his mind, he thinks it's his.
Right. And I'm about to find out why. You guys are in Plymouth, Massachusetts?
Yes.
And where did he take the truck?
Alabama.
Why Alabama?
Because that's where he lived. He has a house down in Alabama.
So he took the truck and drove down to Alabama?
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you do? Did you ever report it stolen?
I did. I gave him a couple of days to bring it back. I believe it was 5 days, 6 days, until I went down to the police station to file a report.
In Massachusetts?
Yes, in Plymouth,
And then how did you get the car back?
We had to go through, the Plymouth police had to go through the Cullman, Alabama police.
Right.
And they recovered the truck.
Right.
They showed up there with a flatbed and brought it to a storage unit.
Okay.
And then I had to have it shipped back to me.
Okay, so the $283.50 is for the storage until you arrange shipping?
Yes.
And then the $925 was the shipping from Alabama back to Massachusetts?
Yes.
All right, so show me your receipts. And Mr. Key, let me hear your side of this.
Well, we were just sitting there in the living room, and she come by, and I asked her not to take the dog bones outside, and her daughter, and I said, because I have to go outside and find them and clean them up, bring them back in, because she never did do it. And she said, you're out. And Pam just sat there and said, I wish you guys would get along. And I said, is that it? You're not going to say nothing else? You're not going to discipline or say nothing? She said, no. And I said, well, I will. I said, I tell you what, if you call me that again, I'm fixing to slap your teeth down your throat.
Okay.
It's slang. You can't do that.
It's a slang?
It's a slang, you know. We can look at it. You can Google it. You know, they call it kick your teeth down your throat, but it's not. It's just a slang. It's
I think what you're trying to say is that you weren't really going to do that.
well, no, you know, like I'm gonna kill
All right,
you.
but
you know?
let's talk about the truck, though. Let's talk about the truck. Whose truck is this?
It's my truck.
Okay, he makes this comment in the heat of anger. I'm going to slap your teeth down your throat. If you were the woman, would that be a deal breaker for you?
That is a definite deal breaker.
Man, she swore at him first, the girl.
It's mean.
It is definitely mean, but if you were with somebody for 12 years, would you end it?
No, I'd be worried about the kid, quite honestly. I mean, why she's calling him all these names? I'd worry about the kid.
Fair point. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
How is it your truck? She says she paid for it.
Well, I mean, it's we didn't have my money and your money. It was a family thing that we did. It wasn't no my candy bar, your candy bar, my truck.
Did she have her own bank account?
She had her own bank account.
Did you have your own bank account?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you work?
I worked. She was disabled. She could not even drive. She couldn't get up. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't be left alone.
What's the nature of her disability?
A back injury.
Okay. So you're not married, so, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you say, oh, it was all our money, where did the money come from to buy the truck?
I did eBay stuff. I sold my business down south when I came up, and we used my
Can you
money.
prove that you bought the truck?
Well, all I can do is we went together and bought it.
Right. But she says she bought it with her money,
She
and I
paid
can't help
for
but
it.
notice that it's registered in her name and the title is in her name, right?
That's right.
So
It was strictly for the insurance. It's got my address on it. I was primary driver's reason we put it in her name to save about $600 a year in insurance.
yeah, people do that. The problem is that then you have this problem.
We see, I know.
And
we see this
your
problem.
lack of planning's not my emergency. Was he working? Was he contributing to the household?
He was doing his eBay things, but I paid for everything in the household. His eBay money that he made went back to his eBay stuff. I have a basement full of, and barns full of eBay stuff.
How long ago did you guys break up?
3 months ago.
Have you seen each other since then?
No.
See, here's the thing. She's got a car, a truck. The truck. I realize you're driving it every day, but she's got a truck. She says she paid for it. It's in her name. Your defense is it's my truck, so I don't have to pay all this money because it's my truck.
Yes.
Right,
I mean,
but you got to prove your defense.
I've never asked anybody, can I drive? Nothing. It was hours.
Yeah, but you're going to have to prove to me that you paid for it. The way this works is it's either yours or it's hers, or it's part yours and it's part hers. But you can't just say, we're a family, we kumbaya, and it's all our mixed money, not necessarily. Yeah. So, and she's telling me I paid for it and he drove it because we're a family, but I paid for it and it's in my name. Look at everything in my name. And I hear what you're saying, and I know that people do that for the insurance, to lower their insurance bill. But this is the risk of doing that. And when you want to commingle your funds like this when you're not married, that's great. But this is the risk of doing that too. And because the police took the truck away, right? And then it cost $1,208.50 to get the truck back.
She never said don't take the truck.
Come on up. Did she say don't take the truck?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,208.50. That's my judgment.
Thank you.
Well, the plaintiff collects for everything she sued for. So we'll step in, the defendant right here. You feeling on the outcome now?
Well, the day before there was no problem. It was my truck the day before. The day after it wasn't. So,
Do you regret having issued those threats, even though you say you didn't mean them and you would never hurt anybody?
Yeah, it was just misused words.
I know, but do you regret those words coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, is this the end between the two of you for sure?
Yeah.
All right. All right, just head right down there. You got every penny you sued for. Does that satisfy you?
It does. It does.
What's it like to see him in the courtroom for the first time since you broke up?
No emotion, nothing. I'm good.
All right.
Life goes on.
Harvey?
When you live with somebody, you should establish what the ground rules are, if any, on who gets what if you break up. It is kind of like a prenup, and I know it's uncomfortable, but it avoids problems down the road. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.